Hey guys, so I'm here with Andrew today.
Hi.
We're gonna do a video all about how to keep a budget and just talking about how we've managed to save money and pay off bills lately. I feel like a lot of you guys were interested in this.
And of course, if we're gonna make a budget video, it has to be me talking because we know Kendra tries to break that budget as much as she can.
I try. I never really lived by budget, but when I got married, things changed and I had to support this guy because Andrew's going to physical therapy school and we're living, we'll
I'm kind of dead weight right now. She just kind of carries me through.
Yeah, I gotta pay the bills.
I haven't told her yet, but I'm kind of planning on just staying home. I'm gonna quit school pretty soon and just live off you.
Sweet. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. Hopefully we can give you a couple tips. It'll mostly be Andrew talking. A lot of it I'll give a couple little things here and there, but yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy this and let's get started.
Yeah, so the first thing you gotta do is definitely set a budget. And once you set your budget, it's nice because you can kind of earmark every bit of money you're gonna spend. So I feel like before, when we weren't setting a budget, when we first moved in together, we had no budget. We were kind of living just month to month. If we had money, we'd spend it. It's like, you know, what else are we going to do with this money? Let's just spend it. I get cost of living money. So I could have $5,000 every 3 months. And our first couple of months together, we were doing that.
And I was just working one job. I was just waitressing. And so we would live off of his loans would pay for our rent and everything, and just what I make would be like extra money.
We were just sinking ourselves further and further in debt. Once you set a budget, you can really earmark everything and just get a handle on your money. If you read Dave Ramsey's book, which I would suggest, this is kind of like one of the first things. When you're setting your budget, list all your expenses, like everything you have to pay. List your rent, list your electric, your gas, the things you absolutely need. Then after that, once you list all those necessities, then you can kind of list the other things that you have been spending. So after you have a budget of expenses, then list the money you're actually making. We just had Kendra's one income, and she's a waitress. It wasn't a very large income, and we had all this loan money, and we wanted to stop borrowing money if we could. So I would just write down Kendra's loan money. And then I asked her, I was like, hey Kendra, do you think you could pick up a second job?
Then I picked up a job as a nanny. So then I would nanny during the day and then I would waitress at night. So
yeah, so once she picked up those little nannying gigs, I mean that really helped. That boosted our income. That was that much more money we didn't have to take out in loans. If you're gonna do a budget and you're in a relationship, you're married or living with someone, whatever, you need your significant other to be on the same page as you. Yeah. That is one thing that's been really nice about Kendra is when I set up this budget and everything, really wasn't much resistance. She just kind of listened to me. She's like, all right, I'll do it. When I suggested getting another job, she's like, all right, I'll start looking.
Well, I kind of felt guilt. I mean, I knew I needed to be working more, obviously, because I was home a lot. We're going to give you just kind of an idea of what our budget is and just lay it out for you. Yeah,
just so you guys can have a little example of what we live by. So, after we got our budget, we knew how much we were making and how much we were going to be spending. You want to even it too, you don't want to be spending more money than you're taking in. So once we kind of got that leveled out, we listed all of our debts, okay? And you want to list your debts in order from just the highest one to the lowest and go straight through. This is kind of a Dave thing that he tells you to do. If you know anything about Dave Ramsey, he kind of lives by these baby steps. You can read more into that. We won't tell you all that.
Andrew
it's just a budgeting
wanted me to read the book, and I said no.
I could literally talk about Dave for hours, so I won't bore you with that. Once you have your debts listed, you want to, that's going to incorporate too, because obviously you have to pay those off as well. So we just listed them out, and we had Kendra's new car that we had gotten, which probably ill-advised. If you can avoid getting a new car, don't. But it's a great car. We're not going to sell it.
My car was going to break down though.
Yeah, her old car was going to break down. It worked out for us, but it's a large expense. She had some school loans left. She had a credit card right when we got married that we canceled out. It was about $800, so we paid that off.
And our wedding rings.
Our wedding rings was about $2,000.
And then your credit card.
Yeah, and then my credit card. We had quite a few debts. So once you list those out, the next thing I would say to do, and this is another Dave thing, is list them in order of lowest to highest. So then just that list you just made, just flip it. and then it's your debt snowball. So what you want to do is you want to throw as much money as you can at the smallest one, because you want to pay that off first. So I think our smallest one was probably her credit card. It was $800. So once we were paying minimums on everything else, but just throwing as much extra money as we could at that credit card. So once that was paid off, you know, it's nice. It kind of snowball effects. So, you know, her credit card was gone. All the money we were throwing there now goes to the second one, and then you just pay that one off, and it just kind of, you know, you can see the progression as it works from there. I want to include things like excess spending. So I always include about $200 in our regular budget. That is just for anything you want to spend on during the month. So say you want to get fast food, or you want to get whatever.
Like anything extra then, and that's not including like gas and groceries too.
Yeah. And also with that $200, make it cash. When you're spending with cash, if let's say you're buying something that's like $40. I remember before, I mean, I could just swipe the card and not even think twice about
$3, nothing.
Yeah, you know, because you don't really feel the money. But if you give them cash, you know, especially Kendra, she gets a lot of tips, so that's money she earned.
Yeah.
When you're giving that 40, it's like, oh man, that kind of hurts a little bit. You feel the money a little more.
We keep an envelope and we put the $200 for the month, and we just like put it on our fridge. And if like we ever want to go do something, we just use cash. And it is like, at first I thought Andrew's crazy. I was like, what do you mean like we have to take it out of the envelope? It just kind of makes you like prioritize things and realize like what you really want to spend your money on. I feel like throughout like this whole thing of like budgeting, it's made me like have to change how I think about spending money. When I do shop, say we have like extra money one month, it's harder for me to actually spend the money. I'm more like aware of what I'm buying, and I'm like, do I really want this? And I always put stuff back. I don't know, I feel like it's totally changed now.
Yeah. And this kind of stuff, it's really more of a lifestyle change. The first couple of months when if you do change, it just feels kind of weird, you know. It's not normal, it's not what you see everyone doing, because I feel like, you know, if you live in America, we definitely, it seems like most people live above their means, you know, instead of
That's another big thing.
And everybody wants to buy stuff now, buy it immediately, instead of just waiting. I mean, one thing we do, you could do this when you set your budget. Whenever Kendra makes any money, or if I bring home any money, 10% of that I kind of knock off and put in our little savings account, and it'll sit there, and once it kind of adds up to something, let's say after a few weeks, it's totals up to like $100 or so. It's like, hey, that's extra money. That's something we've incorporated.
So you don't feel totally like restricted and that you can't get anything.
Kind of the most basic point of budgeting is do not live beyond your means. I guess that's the thing it is, and that's so simple. It's such like a child principle, but
and it's hard.
It's easy
like
to forget.
If you guys are watching this, obviously you watch YouTube videos, and when I started making videos, I literally would just watch a video, make a list, and go to CVS and buy like everything. Like, it's so hard because you see all these people and they're shopping and they're buying all this stuff, and you feel like you need it. And I really have not bought makeup in a really long time. I use the same things. I really only buy makeup if I run out. But it's not gonna be like this my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Like in a couple of years when Andrew has a job, like obviously like I'll buy more things then, but we'll have more money. It's like right now we don't have the money to just go shop and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, to some people, especially some of my family, it may seem like we're living
like
kind of crazy, but we're just living within our means right now. And truthfully, it's really nice, especially with our groceries. We set our grocery bill is for our budget for the month is $240. So that's about every week we spend $60. And at first when we were going shopping and stuff, it was really tough to stay within that. But now we go in with the mindset of thinking about, hey, we have $60 to spend.
It's like a game.
Let's buy stuff that corresponds to that. And honestly, it is kind of funny now. We've become pretty good at it.
And it's weird, we can just like eyeball it and we'll know exactly when it's like $50, and it always is right around there, like, because we've gotten really used to it. We go shopping every week. And another thing that's really helpful to save money for groceries is to plan meals out. Like, first we just kind of buy random things that we thought looked good. If you plan meals, it just gives you like more options during the week, and it lasts longer, and it's definitely helped save money a lot.
Yeah, and for one thing, I don't think I've ever eaten healthier than I do now. I mean, we buy we'll sometimes go to Costco and just get meat for like the month or something, but then we get everything to add on to that at Trader Joe's after. And like we've had fish tacos all week, and like, I mean, Kendra is an incredible cook, so it really tastes great. So I just love it. So basically we kind of have like 3 little steps just to get you started. So like the first thing is set your budget. Actually create it. You know, write down the list of expenses that you have, like your must-have expenses. Write that list out. The next would be how much you can spend on other things. Like you could spend as much as you want on restaurants, you know, buying clothes, whatever you want, as long as you're setting it in your budget and you have enough money to cover it.
Number 2 is like actually live by your budget. Don't just set it and not use it.
The easiest part is to set the budget, write it out, write how much money you're actually making, how much you're spending. That's easy, but the hard part is to actually live it. It's tough because, you know, right when you do it, you kind of have this energy like, all right, we'll do it, you know? And then for maybe 2 days, you stick to that budget. And then when you get your first test, you're like, oh, I really want to buy this. It's outside my budget. You kind of rationalize, you're like, all right, well, I'll buy it this one time and I'll just skimp on somewhere else. You know, don't do that. Try and live by it. I was reading this book, and it said, you know, you make a habit after you do something for about 5 days, about a week. So, you know, try and do it for at least 5 days. Stick to that budget, stick to it strictly.
And then last is to, what were we saying? Oh, don't like not have fun, like feel like you can't do anything.
Remember to live your life. Yes. You know, you can budget for miscellaneous stuff. Like we budget for $200 extra we can spend. Say like, you know, our buddies are going to the beach or going to see a movie, you know, we can still do that. You can still spend your money and live your life. Don't feel if you do make a mistake that the world's over. I mean, it's your budget, you know, you can live by it. I guess kind of to wrap it up in conclusion, when you live by a budget, it gives you freedom. For us, we're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We've been living by this for a while, and now we're actually seeing the fruits of our labor. I mean, we've paid off the majority of our debts. We only have Kendra's car left to pay. I mean, that's, when you think about it, quickly. Yeah, we were not making much money, you know, and I mean, our income has not really increased much, but, you know, Kendra picked up some side jobs, and when you do that, it pays off, and now it's just giving us peace of mind.
And let's end with Andrew's favorite quote.
Oh yes, my favorite quote. So remember this. Live like no one else now, so you can live like no one else later.
We'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye.